Hello Garima, thank you for joining me. As you can see from the picture, you managed to get your own way, and we're going with the woodpecker, hopefully, if I can find. Oh. So I suppose I should start. Right. The noises in the background are again rainforest sounds, but this time they're from Madagascar. Because I haven't got any from Ecuador, I need to get an Ecuadorian soundtrack. Are you well, Garima? As you can tell from one of my uploads, Monty's been enjoying his advent calendar this year, which my daughter bought him. He gets far too spoilt. I'm not quite high enough on the picture. It's absolutely pouring down with rain here. What's the weather like in India? Yeah, it's quite cold here as well. Sorry, I was trying to concentrate on the painting, so I haven't been paying too much attention to the... Interesting eye, this woodpecker. Got a burr patch around its eye. He signed in on 2 accounts. No idea what those birds are in the background. I think those calls that you can hear now are a type of lemur. I think they're Indri. Nothing to do with this woodpecker. Thank you. I hope it's going all right, this painting. It's called a yellow tufted woodpecker. And I saw it in some rainforest in Ecuador. The places I saw it weren't actually pristine rainforests. They were a bit degraded rainforest. So I presume this woodpecker can manage even in degraded habitat. I'm just going to show that it's a male because it's got some red on the top of its head, which the female is the same as this but doesn't have this little bit of red. It's also got red coming down here. Sorry, it's not the most exciting of live streams, this one, is it? Oh, thank you. A new visitor. Thank you for attending. I'm not great at responding to everyone, I'm afraid, while I'm painting. People tend to have to chat amongst themselves. Sorry about that. Oh, hello, Nomi. Glad you can make it, and through Pet Size. Oh, there's a few people coming in there. Thank you very much. I hope it vaguely looks like some sort of woodpecker. It's supposed to be a yellow tufted woodpecker. From the Ecuadorian rainforests. I'm sorry I'm not typing in on the chat. I hope everyone can chat amongst themselves. Yep, this woodpecker is called a yellow tufted woodpecker, and it's one that I saw whilst I was out in Ecuador with an organisation called the Kamai Foundation, who are doing excellent work trying to preserve habitats out there and protect them and improve the habitats in general. So this was from the foothills of the Amazon, quite high up in the mountains, on the eastern side of the Andes. And I did say a bit earlier on, for those who just joined, that it was in quite a relatively degraded habitat. It wasn't pristine rainforest, it had been altered. No idea what's going on in the noises in the background. I did say a bit earlier on, the noises in the background are from a Madagascan rainforest rather than an Ecuadorian rainforest. I didn't have any sounds for Ecuadorian rainforests, I'm afraid. Thank you for those of you who have clicked on the like. I think it's vaguely looking a bit like a woodpecker. Just putting in some colours that you probably won't be able to see on the end bit, but the thing about watercolour is that you often have to put on lots of washes that then come through in the final picture, but you don't necessarily tell that they're there when you're painting them. They won't necessarily look the same colour. See how it works. Hope everyone's all right. It's gone a bit quiet on the chat. I hope people are still there. I think it needs a bit of purple in it. So, welcome to everyone who has joined. I see there's quite a few viewers, which is very nice. Thank you very much. I'm not putting much in the chat because I struggle to type and talk and paint all at the same time because I'm male and I can't multitask. So I'm very sorry about that. If anyone does want to say hello on the chat, then please feel free. I hope it looks quite realistic. I'm not convinced it's completely looking like the woodpecker I'm trying to portray it as, but it's a nice little woodpecker. As I said before, this one's a male because it's got a little bit of red on the top of its head, which the female is exactly like this, but doesn't have the red patch on the top of its head. They're amazing birds, woodpeckers. They have, unlike most birds which have 3 toes pointing forward and 1 toe pointing backwards, woodpeckers have 2 of their toes pointing forwards and 2 toes pointing backwards, which is an evolutionary adaptation so that they can, which helps them to climb up their trees. Which is how most of them have their lifestyle, although there are some that don't go up and down trees. Well, they don't go down trees. Woodpeckers can only go up trees. Which again is quite interesting for a bird which has evolved to spend its whole time up in trees. You need to do these wings. Something just appeared on my phone, which I've got no idea what it was talking about. Something to do with, have I got a favourite plant? No idea what that means. Probably Garima playing around, isn't it, Garima? Try and do the feet now. Don't think you can quite see that there's 2 going backwards, but it's quite, I think it's quite interesting that they have a different toe formulation. bit of tree trunk. A bit more brown in it, I don't know. I'm going off screen at the moment. I hope the viewers that aren't commenting, I hope that they hope it's all right and that they're finding this relaxing, even with the irritating noises in the background. Sorry about that. I probably put an awful lot of unnecessary stuff on my paintings, but he has a very barred belly, this woodpecker. And interestingly, the yellow tuft that it's named after, just above its eye, there's a yellow tuft. Not necessarily particularly yellow. There is yellow in it, but I wouldn't have said it was. It looks much paler than yellow to me. You know. I think it's sort of vaguely getting there. It looks reasonably woodpeckerish. It's more red on the belly, I think. Never sure whether these marks that I had here really show up on the final thing. They all seem to fade quite a bit. But it's probably better that they're not completely prominent. Doing the tail. Woodpeckers also have a very stiffened tail. Their tail feathers are really, really much stronger than most birds' tail feathers, again, so that they can use it as a counterbalance up against the tree trunk when they're climbing up their trees. They often splay out their tail. Well, it's been half an hour, and I think I'm sort of vaguely getting there with this woodpecker. So it's not been wildly exciting. Are you cooking a meal, Garima? That's what you usually seem to be doing when I'm doing a live stream. Need to do Thank you to anyone who's clicked on the like for the live stream. Try and do some feet now. think that noise might have just woken Monty up. It's actually quite good that he's not disturbed me while I'm painting. I think because it's raining, he decided he doesn't want to go for a walk today. You can probably just about tell it's got 2 toes pointing forward and 2 back. Hello. Yes, this is watercolour. Which the nice thing about watercolour is you can put lots of washes on and then different things come through, which I've tried to do with the wings. Although they have black wings, I've tried to put purple and green and blue in the wings. And also, although the underside is mainly black and white stripes, I've put in some ochre to give it a little bit of depth and colour. The big problem with watercolour is it's not very forgiving. It's quite hard. You can sort of try and get through your mistakes, but certainly while I'm doing a very quick live stream like this, the mistakes are quite hard to cover up. So you just have to embrace the mess that you're making. Can't decide whether, I wonder whether it does need some green in the background. Mainly because there's not really any green in the bird. So I do find if you add all sorts of different colours to it, it makes things stand out a bit. There was a very famous British painter of the 18th century who always reckoned that he needed to add a splash of colour onto all his paintings. He was called J.M.W. Turner, and he always put a little bit of blob of red in somewhere. Which was very clever. It always made things stand out a bit more. I obviously don't need to in this bird because it's got red in it. I do draw in more than one art style. I think like most people, I've sort of tended to move towards the thing I'm most comfortable with. I do quite a bit of pen and ink and a lot of pencil work. I have done oils and acrylics. I've never really got on with acrylics. Don't know why. They just don't seem to agree with me. I much prefer oils. Probably because I'm slow and ponderous. Do you paint at all? I also find that you're multitasking, Garima. I didn't realise I was clashing with Agnieszka. I'm very sorry. Is this called semi-realistic art? I'd say it was called splodge work. Blobs, adding in blobs and... I call it just a really quick sketch as a suggestion of what the bird is like. It's not really particularly realistic. It's to help me with my memories of the birds. Oh, lots of questions. And hello to everyone who's joining. I'm actually drawing to a close. I'm almost finished the painting, but I don't have any. I don't have any formal training in painting. I just sort of slap a few things on a piece of paper. I've got no formal training, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I used to go around lots of art galleries when I was younger, and try and work out how things were done. And I've also learned a lot from trial and error. Not quite sure how to respond to what Garima's saying at the moment, but there you are. I think whatever's on the background noises is laughing at what's being said. Not quite sure whether to add anything else. Might overdo it if I add anything more. I think Garima is joking. I don't think I have any real formal training or any skills in anything really. We have a phrase in Britain that's called a jack of all trades, master of none, and that's me. I dabble in all sorts of things, but don't do them particularly well. But I enjoy it. I like painting. That's the main thing that I get out of it. And I say these sorts of things are to try and help me to remember. Oh shit! Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I don't know whether I'll get censored by YouTube, but I've just splodged where I didn't want to splodge. This is where watercolour is not brilliant. If you make a mistake splodge like that. I was getting carried away. I think I've covered up. There. Hope this looks vaguely alright. It vaguely resembles a woodpecker anyway. It's called a yellow tufted woodpecker. If I move down a little bit, you can see that I've painted all over the wording that I've written here for it. I always do that. I never get my framing right. There's coming out, that's the whole thing. A yellow tufted woodpecker. And that's 42 minutes. Yeah, as Garima says, there's various projects to try and save these woodpeckers and their habitat. And if I, oh, what's going on now? There we are. If I can, I'm going to put Cami Foundation. I've hopefully just put in the chat the website for the Cami Foundation, because where this this woodpecker was in an area called the Pitalala Reserve in the Amazon, and it's on the eastern slopes of the Andes in Ecuador. And the actual place where I saw this woodpecker predominantly, actually I saw it in a few places, but the main place I saw it was in some degraded forest which the Cami Foundation are currently trying to purchase to add to their existing reserve to try and help. And they're doing amazing work. They've just, some of the other paintings that I've been putting on have been in their other reserve, the Arlequin Reserve. You may have seen some of the sort of frogs that I've painted. Some of them were in the Arlequin Reserve. And that they've just expanded that to try and preserve a toad that they thought was extinct. But it's well worth supporting the Kamai Foundation. They do amazing work for a very small organisation. If you do wish to support the Kamai Foundation, then do mention my name, because Alejandro, I'm sure, will remember me from when we were working there, and I'm hoping to go back again. It's well worth checking it all out. They've got a YouTube channel as well, the Kamai Foundation. And I've just spelt it wrong on the chat. There's no N in it. I think Garima spelt it correctly. Garima's better at spelling than I am in Ecuadorian Spanish. Right, so I think with one last look at the yellow-tufted woodpecker, and I can also probably show you, these were the other ones I was doing the other day, a couple of little tiny micro moths that I found while I was out there, and a nice cicada. And you can see the spots for the slots which I left for those of you who voted. Thank you for all those who voted. So you can see that all 4 will be painted, but they probably just won't be live streams. I was surprised how popular the Rufous Mott was. I'd probably need to paint that at some point. Here's some previous ones. I do like trogons, are always nice birds to do. And some of you may recognise this one from a previous live stream, the Ecuadorian poison frog. And there's a nice hummingbird. And some of the butterflies were quite amazing, very subtle. So back to this, and I probably will be signing off. So thank you everyone who came along for the live stream. Thank you for all the chat, and thank you for the likes. Do look up the Kamai Foundation, they're very well worth supporting. And I'll have to see whether I do another live stream, I don't know. I have to work out what I'm doing. I haven't got many videos to upload at the moment. But thank you very much. Hope everyone is well. And take care of yourselves, and thank you for joining. I will be signing off shortly if I can find the right button. Okay.